The gentleman from Kansas, Dr. Marshall, for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On my way over this afternoon, I had a moment or two to myself as I walked over here and I was contemplating today's hearing, and I got to reflect on my career a little bit as an obstetrician, my wife as a neonatal intensive care nurse. And a big part of my training was how to deal with complications of pregnancy, cord prolapse and placental abruption and shoulder dystocias and extreme prematurity. And I walk into this hearing, we talk about infanticide. And that's a term, it's too soft. This is the murder of newborn babies. Okay, let's make that clear. This is murder of newborn babies. Ms. Longbonds, are there other cultures that allow for the murder of newborn babies that allow this same process? Other countries?
Well, we know that the U.S. is not alone in this. We're one of 7 countries that allows elective abortion after 20 weeks. And another of the 7, Canada, also has published statistics in the number of babies who are born alive during abortions. And in Canada, between 2013 and 2018, there were 766 babies who were born alive during late-term abortions. So we know we're not the only ones, and if it's happening there, it's surely happening here too.
Thank you. I mean, my guess as an obstetrician is that this is happening thousands of times in this country. If I could share another story from my residency days, within the first month of being an OBGYN resident, setting up on labor and delivery and getting that page overhead. It was back before we had cell phones. The operator said, we need an OB resident stat to the ER. So run down 3 stories of stairs, through the building, clear to the other side, and walk into an ER bay. And there before me was a young lady, obviously in shock. She had no pulse. Her blood pressure was probably 40 over something, and basically she was lying in her own blood. And you walk into the room, I know I've got seconds, maybe a minute to get the placenta out of her. I know that she was pregnant, it's about all I know. I need to get that placenta out to stop the bleeding. And I look beside us, and I said, what's going on here? Can someone tell me, so as I'm trying to remove the placenta, what I'm getting ready to get into? And I look beside us, and in the next room, there's another baby, probably 27 weeks along, and its arm is just hanging there. And the baby otherwise is doing well, it's in pain, and they said, well, this is a failed abortion. They reached up and grabbed this arm, pulled it through the cervix, dislocated the arm, and they said, oh my gosh, this baby is further along than we thought it would be. And we were able to save the mom's life. But what I want to talk to, I think this is Dr. Perucci's question, is guesstimating baby's gestational age over 20 weeks. Really, if a woman walks into my office, she's over 20 weeks, I've never met her before, I slap an ultrasound on her, I can be off 3 to 4 weeks very easily. Would you agree with that and edify us a bit?
Oh, absolutely. There's actually been studies to say that my eyes, we're really not very good at going to a delivery and guesstimating what is the age of that baby. I will tell parents, if you want me there, I will do everything I can. To ask me to come there and just kind of peruse, do I think we can do this? No. In fact, there's really good literature that says the degree of liveliness of the baby before I attempt to resuscitation tells you if the baby will survive. That's not true. If I get the lungs opened up and the heart going, the baby gets a lot more lively. So our eyesight is really quite limited. You're exactly right, and there's literature that supports that.
I thank you, and I yield back.